Hello, friends. How you doing today? So I wanted to tackle a, frankly, probably controversial topic today. It's probably going to get me some interesting comments in the notes, so we'll see what happens. But I just want to come out and say that I believe the BRRRR strategy, right? Buy, repair, um, rent, refi, repeat, which is a very, very popular strategy. It's discussed a lot on Bigger Pockets. There's books out on the topic, and basically just say that I believe the BRRRR method in 2019 in most markets is not the right option for most investors. So that's a very controversial topic, and thus I thought I should talk about it and explain what I mean. So I think there's a couple of things, right? First and foremost, you got to remember rule number one. And rule number one is don't lose money. And if you need help, rule number two says, look at rule number one, right? These are obviously quotes from Warren Buffett. The other thing that I think you need to appreciate as a new real estate investor is timing, right? And I don't mean like stock market timing and buying the dips and, all of that stuff. What I mean is you can watch real estate. It moves relatively slowly. And I think without question, the last 5 years have been the perfect time to do or run the BRRRR strategy. Because while you were executing the strategy, time was ticking by. And in what was a seller's market, you were incented to hold properties. Basically, you were rewarded for working on a project. And what that means is you had a 1, 2, 5, 6, whatever it was, percent appreciation just because you held real estate. And that obviously was a huge help to BRRRR, right? If you were doing it for 4 months or 5 months and the price of the house went up 3%, even if you ran a bad project, you were rewarded for that. I think without question in most markets, the real estate world is flattening. And in many markets, it's turning negative. So this is not the time to execute the BRRRR strategy. You don't have that cushion of time and appreciation. Instead, you will soon see negative surprises. And if you are trying to execute the BRRRR strategy in a market that's gone flat or negative, you are going to end up not being able to refi out all of your cash and then thus blow up your strategy. The other things that will happen in a negative market like this is lending will change. So what happens if suddenly these refi loans and all these BRRRR strategies go away? I've invested in a market where investors almost overnight couldn't get loans. So what happens to your property if you can't execute the refi 4, 5, 6 months from now? These are things that bother me because I think there are so many people that have executed the BRRRR strategy in the best market possible, which was the last 5 years, telling you to start now. And I think that's bad advice. I think telling a new investor to execute a strategy they've never tried into a market that's rolling over is cruel. I think it's darn right wrong. So I wanted to create this. But there's something else that I want to talk about because a lot of people that watch this channel are full-time employees. And if we go back to rule number one, don't lose money, I would almost argue for full-time employees, working 60 hours a week and all these other factors, you have two other considerations. Yes, don't lose money is still there, but you have to figure about time. Where's your time going? The BRRRR strategy takes time. Right? Just even if you're not doing the work, it still takes time, right? You still got to buy it. You got to go through the remodel process. You got to go through, the rent process and refi it and repeat and all of that. And most of the time that's during the day. And if you're working a busy full-time job and you're all over the world like I was, can you really do that without impacting your day job? Right? I'm not one here sitting here telling people they got to quit their job. No, go grind, go make the most money you can, reduce your expenses, and then invest. And I think telling somebody to go execute BRRRR without understanding that they have no time is, again, unfair. And it's not the nice thing to do. So if you don't have the time to execute and monitor a BRRRR project, heaven's sakes, if you're doing a BRRRR project in another state, oh, what are you doing? This is not the time. The market's rolling over. You don't know if you're one street away and you can't watch your general contractor every day, and you're just asking for trouble. I would certainly not do a BRRRR strategy today in another state, especially if it's your first time, right? You don't have the time. It's just so many things. But there's a third thing you need to consider, and that's risk. What are you risking, right? If you're a full-time employee with no time and you're trying not to lose money, is this the time where risk is on your side, or is it going against you? I think without question, this is the most risky environment we've seen in the last 5 years. BRRRR strategy, while great for some, is not great for most in this market. So I just wanted to come out. I think there's too many. It's just like all cycles, right? At the peak, all the people that were successful the last 5 years come out and tell you, hey, follow me. I did all these great things. I'm sorry. I think BRRRR strategy is wonderful. It's worked wonders for us the last 5 years. I know how much work it takes and how rewarding it can be. It just now is not the time. I believe strongly that if you do the math, buying turnkey, fully leased projects are far better for you and less risky. You walk right into a functioning asset. You're already getting a 4 or a 3% interest rate. Why do you want to risk all that, add stress, hurt your day job? It's, again, if you have the flexibility, you can do it in your backyard, you've done it before, the BRRRR strategy can be great. I'm here to tell you that for 80% of the new investors in a market that's topping out or rolling over, the BRRRR strategy is going to hurt you. And I just wanted to be one voice in a tornado or a hurricane that is out there saying that, you know what, it's okay not to do BRRRR today. You might want to learn it because the market will change again. And in a seller's market that runs for 5 to 7 years, it's great. It's just not where we are today. So I wanted to leave you with that. Hopefully that makes sense. Leave your comments below. Please subscribe to this channel. I am trying to help people, but let me know what you think. All right, take care.